This is the story of the spectacular fall from grace of Vitor Roque, the young Brazilian who arrived at FC Barcelona as the next big thing, but who ended up being considered a failure in Europe, returning to Brazil as a real burden and liability, one that was not worth the trouble. What happened to Tigrinho? Was he a victim of circumstances, of his personal environment, or of the manoeuvres of his agent, André Cury? Make sure you stay until the end, because this is a good one. Also, while you're here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the little bell so that you don't miss a thing. It began with Barcelona's dream. Vitor Roque arrived at FC Barca in January 2024 at the age of just 18, coming from Atlético Paranaense. The club paid a fixed €30 million plus up to €31 million in variable add-ons, a huge amount for a boy with hardly any experience at the top level. He was billed as the heir to Lewandowski, Brazil's next number 9, nicknamed Tigrinho. But what happened? Well, from the start, things didn't add up. Xavi Hernandez, the coach at the time, didn't have faith in him. In 6 months, Vitor played only 16 matches, scoring 2 goals and playing just 319 minutes in La Liga. In training, it was said that he did not fit in with Barca's style, finding it difficult to adapt to positional play and the famous rondos. He only knew how to run and press. Moreover, he arrived at a difficult time for the club, with financial problems and a dressing room under pressure. This environment did not help. Expectations were sky high, and social media did not spare him. There were memes and criticism and unfair comparisons, and Vitor, a young boy in a new country, began to feel the weight of being a promise at a club like Barca. Then came the loan to Betis. In the summer of 2024, with the arrival of Hansi Flick at Barca, it became clear that Vitor was not part of the plans. The club decided to loan him to Real Betis, a team where he was expected to get game time and show his talent. And at first, it looked good. Vitor started scoring goals, but many were in minor competitions or against weak opponents such as Gevora or Santandreu. Or then there was a penalty in the Copa del Rey against Barca in a 5-1 defeat, in which Barca's goalkeeper, Iñaki Peña, seemed to let himself be marked for the penalty. Vitor ran and ran, but when he found himself alone in front of the goalkeeper, all went dark. Manager Manuel Pellegrini gave him opportunities during the first half of the season, but the arrival of another striker, the Colombian Cucho Hernandez, in January 2025, took the limelight away from him, and Vitor went from being a starter to a substitute, and he quickly threw in the towel. And here comes another key factor: his personal life. At the end of 2024, Vitor separated from his then-wife, Diana Lins, whom he'd married before arriving in Europe, and with whom he had a beautiful celebrity dog. The breakup was public, all over the media, with Diana posting messages on social networks that left the player looking bad. This emotional turmoil affected a boy of just 19, far away from his family in an unknown country and under pressure to prove his worth. Psychology plays a huge role in football, and Vitor seemed to be losing the mental battle. Then came the failed return to Brazil. In February 2025, Vitor Roque returned to Brazil to sign for Palmeiras in a record-breaking deal. €25.5 million fixed, plus €5 million in variable add-ons, the most expensive transfer in the history of South American football, easily surpassing that of Luis Enrique from Betis to Botafogo. At first glance, it seemed like a great opportunity to relaunch his career at a top club in Brazil, but many saw it as a step backwards. At just 20 years old, returning to Brazil after failing to succeed in Europe, it's not ideal for a promising young player. And Vitor made his debut for Palmeiras amid controversy after he drew criticism for diving in the penalty box to fake a penalty. And although the club welcomed him like a star, the pressure is ever present. Palmeiras expects him to lead the attack in tournaments like the Club World Cup, but his confidence seems to have been shaken after 2 turbulent years, and at the time of making this video he has not responded to those expectations. After 7 matches in a lower league like the Brazilian one, he has not scored any goals yet, and at Verdão they are getting desperate with Tigrinho. And here comes the big name in this story, André Cury, his agent. We're going to talk about him because many believe that Vitor was a victim of his manipulations. Yes, the mastermind behind the failure, André Cury, no stranger to the world of football. This Brazilian agent has been behind several Barca signings, many of them considered failures. There was Gerson, there was Enrique, Douglas, about whom we made a video recently, or Mateus Fernandes. The list is long. With Vitor Roque, many see a similar pattern. Cury convinced Barca to pay a fortune for a young player with no experience in Europe at a time of economic crisis. The operation raised suspicion from the start. Why such urgency? Why those figures? Some media outlets suggest that Cury took juicy commissions, something he denies to this day, blaming the Catalan press, of course, for Roque's failure. And then, when Vitor failed to settle in, Cury orchestrated his loan move to Real Betis, and also his transfer to Palmeiras, moving more than 55 million euros in total. Now, for his critics, this is not only a sporting failure, but a financial scam. And so Barca, recovering a large part of its investment, was effectively left in the clear for betting on a project that never made sporting sense. Cury, for his part, defends Vitor. He says he is a great talent and that he just needs time and that he could indeed return to Europe in a couple of years and that he could go to the World Cup with Brazil. He could even return to Barca at some point. But do we believe him? His track record does not play in his favour. The story of Vitor Roque is a reminder of how cruel elite football can be. A talented boy, but trapped in a whirlwind of expectations and personal problems and questionable decisions. Was it all a scam orchestrated by André Cury? Was it a mistake by Barca? Or is it another example of simply a young man who arrived too early on the wrong stage? The truth is that Vitor is only 20 years old and he has a lot of football ahead of him. At Palmeiras, he has the chance to rediscover himself. You, dear viewer, what do you think? Do you think Tigrinho will roar again in Europe, or that his story on the old continent is already over? Make sure you leave us a comment, and also like the video, subscribe to the channel, indeed share the video, and we will, of course, see you next time.